Hey, welcome back to the Lutheran Worship Podcast presented by the Center for Worship Leadership at Concordia University, Irvine. I am Kip Fox, and I'm the director of the Songwriter Initiative, joined, as always, by my friend, the director of the Center for Worship Leadership, the Reverend Steve Zank. Steve, how are you today?
Kip, I am enjoying today. As you can see, I'm wearing a fun shirt.
I can see.
It's because today is our 28th episode.
Wow. And 28 is a significant number because, as we know, 7 is a holy number and 4 is a holy number. And when you multiply those together, you get 28. And here we are. Wow.
We made it. And 28, I think, is still 52 weeks in a year? 52? So we're more than half a year doing this together.
Wow. Now that's something I didn't think about. Okay.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
This is a milestone.
So welcome to episode 28. We are excited to be here on this episode because what we're going to do today is share with you about the upcoming WALi Summit and what it's about and what's going to happen here in September in St. Louis. We're going to invite you to it, but also this is not just going to be a plug for a conference, but we're going to talk about some of the philosophies behind that conference and why we do what we do, and I think it's going to be an engaging and interesting topic.
Yeah, Steve, why don't we start? Tell our listeners, who is this WALi person and why would we go to a summit for him?
Yeah, it's not the robot. That's spelled differently. I've gotten that one before. It's not WALi. I've gotten that one before. They're deep down.
Sorry, Minnesota.
Yeah, and they taste good. WALi are incredible fish to eat and quite fun to catch. But unfortunately, we're not doing that either. WALi stands for the Worship Arts Leader Initiative. And the Center for Worship Leadership has many initiatives that we do stuff through. Kip referenced the Songwriter Initiative, where we help encourage songwriters and produce music. WALi is how the Center for Worship Leadership gathers and encourages practitioners involved in worship. So pastors, church musicians, worship leaders, tech directors, anyone involved in worship planning, execution at a church. We gather them together for an annual summit, talk about the issues, and spend some time together. It's been a blast. We started this, I think, in 2007 or 2008, something like that, Kip. It sounds right to me.
Absolutely.
And WALi is really built around 3 core competencies of worship leadership. And I think this would be a really good takeaway for listeners as you talk about the WALi Summit upcoming. But these 3 cores really form the foundation of everything we do at the summit. And they are the theology of worship, ministry leadership, and practical skills. And the idea behind these 3 cores is you can kind of imagine people in your life who are one of them, but not the others. You know, a really great musician who doesn't quite understand theology very well, or a really great theologian who's not a very, very good at organizing and coordinating a rehearsal, or someone who's like got all the people skills in the world, but maybe falls flat in other areas. And so the 3 core approach isn't to say you have to be perfect at all 3 cores, but you kind of want to know where your weaknesses and strengths are and work towards shoring out your weaknesses and really living out in your strengths.
Yeah, so really the foundational piece of this summit, and when we say summit, we mean gathering, right? We mean it's a worship conference, for lack of a better, if you wanted to use a synonym.
Well, it's not going to be a valley experience, you know?
You're not going deep into the valley. You're
really
going up to the top.
We want to give you some energy, encouragement.
You're going to be on the mountaintop, a summit, if you will. But really, for the last, 15, almost 20 years, the first thing that we think about when we talk about the WALi Summit, this gathering, apart from any other sort of worship conference you may go to, is the community. It's just an incredible community of people who have similar goals, obviously come from similar ministry situations, and there's just there are amazing connections that happen. And so when you think about, if you're looking to come to a conference, if you're looking for something to help you improve in your leadership or your skills as a worship practitioner, I would encourage you to just understand that you're going to get a lot of great tools, but you are going to make friends. You are going to be connected to just the salt of the earth, right? Just like the best Lutheran folks around. And that's really, to me, the number one thing that's always been is, first and foremost, let's just be together. Let's find a place and a time to laugh together, to cry together, to share each other's burdens, and just to understand and know what it's like to be in our shoes.
In fact, this year at the summit, this September 15th to 17th in St. Louis, and near St. Louis in Kirkwood, at Concordia Lutheran Church. And we actually went down, we lost one of our plenaries on purpose to have more time for networking. And to imagine, that's from 5 to 4 plenaries, so there's still plenty of content, but we want to make even a greater emphasis on getting to know people around you. And the other thing we started doing at WALi that we're excited about, and this is just, again, we want to talk about principles of Lutheran worship beyond just talking about the event. And this is one really good spot to kind of sit and talk about for a little bit. Recently, we adjusted the conference to be about one divine service, many expressions. Before, we were only doing more of a contemporary style to help the people doing that do it well and encourage them. But we realized, I think along the way, there was just too much camp mentality happening throughout the Lutheranism in America, in my experience. And so we said, can the WALi Summit bring together traditional practitioners, quote unquote, and contemporary practitioners, and be a space where there's no worship words going on here. We're going to have the organ full blast. Last year we had a beautiful choir with us from Concordia University of St. Paul, and the organ is blaring and the band's playing, and it's just an incredibly uniting and fun experience. And that's part of the community aspect for me too, is this idea that where you're rubbing shoulders with people who, let's say you're an organist, you're rubbing shoulders with someone who's doing work as a band leader with drums and bass and rhythm section, and vice versa. You're hanging out with an organist or a handbell director. And there's something really enriching about those kinds of relationships that we realize we're not divided. We're all church musicians here, and we care about the same things. And there's something really beautiful about that community beyond the bounds of musical style. And that's really important takeaway, is that Lutheran worship is not tied to one musical style. And the recent Lutheran Church Missouri Synod Convention, by the way, this podcast is part of Concordia University Irvine, a part of the CUS system, part of the LCMS denomination. At our recent convention, our national convention, it was again reaffirmed by the president and talked about this idea that musical styles can vary in our synod. And that's supported and encouraged by synodical resolutions, those kinds of things. So this is a good thing to gather different musical styles. And also it teaches us something about that experience, that worship is not tied to one style. And we shouldn't divide over, I do contemporary music, all those doing traditional music, they're stuck in the past. Or we do traditional music, all those doing contemporary styles of music are unfaithful to being Lutheran. Those days are over. It's time for us to come together and to celebrate together the gifts that God gives us in divine service, whether the instruments that support the singing and worship are a drum set and a bass, or a organ and a choir. We're all here really doing the same thing, which is the divine service. God's giving us his gifts of word and sacrament and each other, and time to hear and reflect and be engaged by the law and the gospel, by Holy Communion, to be forgiven of our sins through the true body and blood of Jesus Christ, and to sing as a church, as one church, how good God is to us, and give thanks. And it doesn't matter what instrument you're using. We're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a Lutheran conference that is doing that is celebrating all the styles and coming together to support one another, gosh, the summit is perfect for you. Steve, tell folks, some of the practical things, takeaways, kind of maybe the theme of how we go about deciding what to talk about and how to help.
Yeah. So the WALi Summit, the 3-day summit, there's experiences of worship, there's devotional sermons, there are chances to sing, and there are chances to gather for breakout sessions and plenary sessions. The plenary sessions are for the entire group together, and the breakouts, you can choose what interests you. There's workshops on preaching for pastors. There's workshops on theology of worship and issues of music selection and music direction and all kinds of things. Stuff on leadership and what it means to lead a team and to think about those issues. There's even stuff about music in a school and how to think about those things. This year, so if you're finding this podcast, a year from now, 2 years from now, it'll be archived, and this is not relevant to you anymore. This is for the 2026 WALi Summit. We're really excited to have with us Reverend Dr. David Schmidt, Reverend Dr. Peter Nafsker, both from Concordia Seminary, St. Louis, who teach preaching there with us. They'll be preaching services and doing some workshops on preaching, as well as our own Reverend Bob Sundquist here from Concordia University, Irvine, preaching and doing workshops. So it's going to be an incredible opportunity for that perspective to hear great preaching, to learn about great preaching if you're a preacher. And we want to model in our services a really integrated approach to worship planning. And by that, you'll see connections being made between contemporary and traditional music, connections between the sermon and the song selection, connections with liturgical pieces and how we do confession and absolution. Very intentional planning. And we love the opportunity to do that kind of work as a center and gather around God's word through those plans. And then this year, we have 4 plenary speakers. We're going to have Dr. Richard Mars with us from Concordia Seminary, St. Louis. And if you're not coming to the summit, this is another good spot to kind of talk about an issue real quick. Dr. Mars is working with the idea of church worker health. A recent survey found, this is going to rock your world maybe. Okay. A recent survey found that worship leaders are over 8 times less likely to report excellent mental health than other U.S. adults.
Wow.
I'll say that again. Worship leaders are over 8 times less likely to report excellent mental health than other U.S. adults.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it just makes me glad that Dr. Mars is going to be speaking on it, but it reminds me again of what we've experienced over the years with the summit, which is, man, finding friends, finding folks that are going through the same thing. I feel like loneliness or just not having that network of support of people that understand that vocation. It's just a surprising revelation when you get to go to one of these summits and open up and hear others open up. It's a really cool thing. So it's great that Dr. Mars is going to talk about that. Who else do we have coming?
We're excited to have Christina Hergenrotter back with us at the summit this year. Her topic this year is loving each other deeply in a fractured world from 1 Peter. And so we're excited about the opportunity to learn how we love each other more, especially with the divisions we experience in the church and in the world. So we're excited about that talk. Bob Sundquist will be with us talking about the theology of worship, and I'll also give a short talk about a topic that you will find out if you come to the summit. It's going to be quite good.
Tease.
Quite good. I mean, it interests me, of course, but so it's going to be a blast. Breakouts, all kinds of sessions.
Yeah, I'm looking through the list of breakouts. We've got breakouts on Weave, our online digital tool that we've created. We've got stuff on band leadership. We've got tech breakouts everywhere. Theology of worship, preaching. You've said all these, but man, I'm just going over this list, and everybody will find something. It's really
traditionally oriented breakouts for traditional musicians,
of course,
some for contemporary musicians, and some that appeal to both. And we're so excited about all that. And it's been a great dinner the first night, an optional dinner. We chose to lower the cost of registration so that if you're local and it was too much money to pay for the full experience, you could just opt out of the dinner and the lunch. You could bring your own lunch, or you could go out and get your own food. The dinner is a kind of a banquet, so it's like a little nicer dinner. And so that's an optional add-on this year. And if you want to opt out, you can save some money, or opt in and have the full experience.
Now, I know there are some different rates for some younger folks, right? What's the breakdown there?
Yeah, if you register for the event, you'll see a drop-down menu for options for that. And there's different kinds of rates. If you are a high school student listening to this podcast, go find an adult to chaperone and say, they will let me come for free to the WALi Summit with a chaperone. And if you are an adult worship leader who knows an aspiring high school student, invite them. It's a free registration for them. We really want it to help high school students be inspired by church music, and maybe even consider that could be a vocation for them, that they could enter into church music as a job if they choose. So that's a really great option. And you'll see that there's also discounts for whole staff. And that's really what we want to do, is encourage. That's why we have pastoral tracks, we have musicianship tracks, tech tracks. Churches with the whole worship staff can come together. They can get their own unique experiences through the breakouts, but then also have some common experiences through plenaries and worship. And that's a really good chance for a whole staff to engage something together and then debrief and talk about those experiences and what that might mean for the church that you're a part of locally. So there's discounts if you bring multiple people from your church.
Love it. Well, again, as we wrap up here, if you're looking to find a community of people that understand what you're going through, if you're looking for a heavy dose of theology of worship, if you're looking for leadership tools and skills or just practical skills to grow in, come to the WALi Summit, walisummit.com. We'll get you right to it. And
Yeah.
Steve, I don't know, what else do we want to tell people?
The joy of the Lord expressed through song. I mean, this is for me is always a huge highlight of the year in terms of music, where we gather these amazing musicians who serve the Lord in the church in local context, bring them all together. You got to enjoy this amazing music and be a part of, and the way we do it, it's the congregational singing. I mean, you guys know how it is when you're a room full of musicians, everyone's singing, the music's amazing, and it's just a joyful experience. And again, I love the different dimensions of worship we bring, the organ and the band and the hymns and the modern songs and the TSI concert on one of the nights, the sing-along concert. The energy of the music for me is a really, really amazing part of what WALi is. The community coming together and singing. There's some kind of quote that I love. I can't remember. I got to find out who said it. But they basically said, when people are singing together, you sort of have to like each other. Like there's no way to be like mad at each other.
That's right.
And sing a song together
so
meaningfully. True. And so singing really brings us together. And there's a lot of joy at the WALi Summit in song.
Well, if you're coming this year, or if you're not coming yet and you want to register, there's still plenty of time. If you are listening to this in the year 2045, I sure hope that there is a summit coming up at some point for you still. I'm sure there is. But we just wanted to make sure you understood sort of the heart of what the WALi Summit is. And we want you to be a part of this community. So please go to walisummit.com and join us.
Love to see you there. If you made it this far, we really appreciate you listening to the whole episode. And you get the special request I have for you today, which is if you are a regular listener, please consider rating us on whatever podcast app you use and even leaving some kind of review or written review. I really appreciate that because I think that helps others find our podcast and also know what to expect when they do. And I think right now the podcast doesn't have that many reviews or comments about it. So consider it if you have enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
If you haven't enjoyed the show, we turn that section off so you can't actually make comments. If you wish you give a 1-star review, just move on. Move along.
Or just share it. Just share the podcast. Just hit that share button, that little square with the arrow in the middle that's going up.
Sure.
You press it.
Yeah.
And comment. Just do it all. Please.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this episode, this casual Friday episode of the Lutheran Worship Podcast. Thank you for your time. And if you're in a ministry setting, thank you for serving the local church. It's our pleasure to come alongside and encourage you in that. And with that, have a great day. We'll see you next time.